You know, they're selling y'all wolf tickets, people. You're eating them right up.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?
I back. Trust me, I back.
But I'm not impressed by your performance.
You'll do nothing. You'll do nothing. Shut your fucking mouth, you'll do nothing. You'll do fucking nothing. Not one of you'll do nothing.
I'll tell you what, bro. You know, I was out there, I was fighting all the hitters, bro. You ain't fought no hitters.
Come on, guys. Normal.
I'm not saying I would fight you. I would kill you.
John, do you think I'm just gonna sit there and let you kill me, John? I mean, really?
No, don't be scared, homie.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the fuck he wants.
I am gonna beat you into the living death. I mean, maybe that's your job, but where I come from, you know, people like that get slapped.
That's fucking illegal.
Nick Diaz, you just shook up the world. How's that feel?
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Yeah, this is a simulated death match. And you haven't simulated anybody's death yet.
I said it last year. We're not here just to take part. We're here to take over.
What is the game plan going in against him?
The game plan is you go in there, hit him with some good shit, don't get hit, and come home with a pocket full of cash.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Everybody's on steroids. The whole UFC, everybody.
I'm gonna go home tonight. I'm gonna drink a Coors Light. That's a Coors Light because Bud Light won't pay me nothing.
Do you want to be a fighter? That is my question.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up? Patreon. Oh, not Patreon. Wow. I'm so used to championship rounds. I'm on that time frame. It's one of those days where I'm not on point. I'll be completely honest. And it's not a big news day. So it's going to be one of those shows. But it is Monday. No, not Monday. It's Tuesday. I'm telling you, I am completely off today. I don't know what it is. Maybe just not enough coffee. One of those days. But shout out to everyone in the chat. Nija, Fat Apples, Louie, Rick, Prospect, Rubisky, everyone. It is Mixed Combat Radio. Obviously live every day, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. in the UK. Podcast form on iTunes, iHeartRadio, etc., Spotify. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, share the show. Patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio to help support the channel. All that, bullshit, get it out of the way. I hope everyone's having a good day. I hope, Nija, Rick, Prospect, let me know how you guys' days are going. But yeah, it's like I said at the top, it's not a big news day, unfortunately. It's one of those. Lord Jacobs here, so I gotta say it. Hipsters here, haters beware. He'll give me shit if I don't say that. Get hyped. We're here. Like Nigel says, hit the thumbs up, guys. Come on. But let's get into it because I'll be honest, I'm kind of hungry, and like I said, there's not that much news, and it's just a daily show. Fat Apple saying there were some fights announced today. Pedraza versus Beltran. I believe that's been announced for a while. Mendy versus Campbell. That was actually a really good fight. And a few other fights. That Mendy versus Luke Campbell fight on the AJ versus Povetkin card. Yeah, I mean, there's news. There's not like there's big news. It's not like it's one of those days. I mean, probably the biggest news of the day is Ryan Garcia, to be honest. MB saying Askren versus Lawrence Okolie is done for the AJ card. Thank you, all the UK fans. Get out there, support. I get it. Fat Appleton White dropped down 1 rank from the WBC. Who cares? He's gonna fight Trezor again in a rematch. Let's be honest. But like I've said, let's get into the news of the day. Obviously, boxing the first portion and MMA in the second portion. For anyone that is listening on podcast or playback and maybe want to skip ahead, whatever it may be. I'm going to start putting timestamps in post. Obviously, I can't do it, live because we don't know when we're going to cut off from topic to topic, but definitely want to start doing that in the post. So I will be doing that. So if you listen on playback, make sure you listen or look down the description, if you want to switch between topics and such. But let's digress to the news of the day. Ryan Garcia, obviously being a huge commodity. Definitely an investment from Golden Boy. Headlining one of their Facebook live stream events that's now part of their new Facebook deal against Carlos Morales. You may know Carlos Morales. Oh, Nigel's saying, oh, Matt, please give Rob a shout-out. Did I not give Rob a shout-out? What? Oh, I'm sorry, Rob. I didn't see you there. Hi, Rob. But I texted you, man. I was texting you right before I got on air. Relax.
Don't be mad on me.
Come on, man. Come on. It's okay. It's okay. But to digress a little bit, obviously, if you have heard the name Carlos Morales and you think you've heard of him, the only fight that you probably have seen of his was against Alberto Machado, where he lost basically every round. Rick coming with the fucking elbow from the turnbuckle, saying Rob feeling emotional.
Why you emotional?
It's okay, Rob. We still love you. But yeah, Morales, in terms of what he can really bring to the table, he's a slow starter. I've noticed that in some of his fights. Technically not really diverse. Nothing really explosive. Nothing really comes to mind. Not really a knockout artist. He has like 6 knockouts out of 17 wins. Something of that nature. I don't have his record up, but I remember being very low. Also a guy that really wants to get on the inside and kind of rough you up, make it an ugly fight. That would be interesting against Ryan Garcia, just from a style perspective. Morales being a relatively tough guy, durable guy, a guy that really doesn't get hurt. And he even gave Machado some good rounds where he was hitting him with some really hard, good shots, even though Morales is not a heavy hitter. I think Garcia is going to struggle here. I think Garcia, in sort of switch back to what I said about, Golden Boy investing so much into him, he is now on a pedestal of, I'm going to use this term, and it's not really accurate to what he is, stardom. He is at a point now where I think it's sort of getting to his head. The whole Gervonta Davis call out, wanting to spar in the gym, that was all indicative of that, in my opinion. The boxing idiot sort of echoing this, I believe, saying, and compounding on it, saying his father trains him at home. I think that's not inducive of widening your arsenal, of improving on your technique. There's a reason why elite boxers go to elite trainers. And we've even seen this before, where like a guy like Klitschko, started out. I forget who he was trained in when he started out in his pros before he went to Emmanuel Stewart, and you saw a drastic difference there. Elite fighters should go to elite trainers. It makes them a better fighter. That is just common sense. Going to a better camp, going to a better training facility. These are all common sense ideas. Louis saying, Matt, are you saying Ryan Garcia is a hype job? Not necessarily. No, I think Ryan Garcia is a good talent. He's a good prospect. But I believe Rob's saying he is a hype job. No, I'll put it this way. I think Ryan Garcia, it may be overhyped, and that's possible, but I don't think it's a hype job. Hype job would imply that he has no skill. A la, let's say, Cletus Selden from HBO. HBO put Cletus Selden ahead of a bunch of big cards, opening it up, hyped him up, and he wasn't good. We knew that Cletus Selden wasn't good, right? Ryan Garcia is a good prospect. He is just very young. I think he has a lack of pedigree. I think he has a lack of depth to his overall skill set. And I believe there are obvious things he should do to fix that and correct that. And I think, again, him being overhyped, especially by his own promoter, is not inducive to him having a prolonged, long-term, successful career. I think he's going to naturally not meet expectations that are put on him. And maybe he puts on himself, and, it's one of the things about just going viral. How many viral internet stars flame out in, a matter of years, if that. Sometimes months, Rob saying Jason Velez gave him trouble. He did. Jason Velez did give him trouble. Now, Jason Velez, for all those sort of wanting to compare, Jason Velez is a much better opponent than Carlos Morales in terms of skill, technique. So that's why I think Ryan Garcia should do better against Morales. And plus, Morales is such a slow starter. Ryan Garcia is a very fast starter. I think Garcia should win this. Not easily, but he should win this. Like, this is not a fight he should lose in any metric or in any way. Jason Velez is a much better opponent. Luis, how old is he now? 19. He's young. And I believe... Oh, Eric Cruz in the chat. What's up, Eric? What's up? I hope you're doing good, Eric. I miss you, man. Don't worry, Fat Apples. We're going to get to that later, maybe, because that's not even a topic. But Garcia, I believe if you're Golden Boy, it makes sense to make him the main event on your Facebook card because, let's be honest, Ryan Garcia is an internet, social media darling. He is a star on these platforms. So why not throw him on there and make him the marquee? Especially when social media streaming for fights is, in my opinion, doing extremely well. Lord Jacob making a couple good points, saying Garcia is just young and green and slightly overrated. I agree on both parts. He can still be, and quickly before all you Ryan Garcia fans start hating, Ryan Garcia can both be a really good prospect with a lot of skill and a high ceiling and still be overrated. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. But if you look at what fight cards are doing and polling now on internet streaming services, they do insane. ONE FC, and that's an MMA promotion, and for those that are boxers, I know, just to put in perspective, it is a third-rate Asian promotional company. Yeah, Anthony, I'll get to that. I'll get to that later. I'll get to that as like a transitional topic. Don't worry. But if that third-rate promotional Asian market company for MMA is able to pull over 4 million viewers on Periscope for their undercard, Ryan Garcia is going to clean up with this Facebook deal. And even though Facebook just lost like over $110 billion in like a day via the stock market or some god-awful like number, this will be fine. Like, they're going to make money back on this somehow, whether it be advertisement in some way. I don't know, but they're going to be happy. I think Facebook's going to be happy. I think Golden Boy's going to be happy. Ryan Garcia should win this easily. I don't think he's going to finish him. Carlos Morales is a tough customer, and I think he's a durable guy. He gave Machado some work, even though he clearly lost. I think it would be similar in this, where Ryan Garcia will have some bad rounds in the second half of the fight, but clearly win the fight, in my opinion. But yes, let's move on to the next piece of news of the day. Speaking of streaming fights, Tyson Fury versus Panetta and Frampton versus Luke Jackson has been picked up by Showtime, YouTube, and Facebook. Obviously, there is some relationship between Frank Warren, Hennessy Sports, and Showtime, because I believe all of Frampton's recent fights since the Leo fight in the U.S., basically all of his overseas fights and his comeback, sort of run, have all been streamed by Showtime. Whether it's because Carl Frampton has a relationship with Showtime, whether it's because Frank Warren does, I don't know what the combination is or what the sort of contractual relationship is between these parties, but it's there. I don't think for any of those, that I have seen people online saying like, it's proof that, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder is going to happen. Showtime picked up Fury's fight. That was going to happen, I think, regardless, to be honest. This is just probably another incentive to get it. Is that, okay, we're going to have Deontay Wilder most likely be in attendance at this event. We should want it on our YouTube streaming and Facebook platforms for the entire world to see. And I don't blame them. And it should do good numbers. I think the last few events they've had have done decent numbers on their YouTube and Facebook platforms. So good for them. And again, just another sign that this is the way to go. Just easy streaming, and maybe Showtime doing more YouTube streams, maybe a way of the future. Because Steven Espinoza has talked about sort of trying to figure out that end of the market, because obviously DAZN and ESPN Plus are making a huge stab into the entire marketplace with streaming. And, I've talked about that ad nauseum. I'm not going to talk about it again, but just something to make note going forward what will be done, for Showtime. And obviously, good to see Carl Frampton, Luke Jackson, and Tyson Fury available for the U.S. audience. That's something I really complained about with Dylan White versus Joseph Parker, the fact that we did not have U.S. viewership. We're going to have at least some for this fight. So that is good. And, even if you don't have a Showtime subscription, I believe, obviously, you're able to watch it on Showtime YouTube and Facebook if you're in the U.S. Johnny, what's up, Johnny? Saying Showtime always killing HBO. Don't say HBO don't care at this point where they don't. And obviously, we're going to get to that when we talk about the Sergey Kovalev numbers, which were not good, but we're hold on that for at least one more topic before we head into those viewership numbers. Last piece, a little bit news. Gilberto Ramirez. Gilberto, what are you doing, buddy? Saying he's ready to face Eubank Jr. and James DeGale next. Gilberto, buddy. And you know what? To his credit, I actually read what he says here, just to be nice, because I've met Gilberto a few times. I've interviewed him a few times. He's a nice guy. But he said, "I like Eubank Jr. I like James DeGale. Any of them. I'm prepared to fight with any of the champions, with the best. I don't only want to be one of the best, but I want to be the best. Blah 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 blah. Bunch of bullshit." So if you say, I'm prepared to fight any of the champions, then mention their name. Don't mention people that are out of title contention. Chris Eubank Jr. is coming off a loss to George Groves. James DeGale is coming off of vacating his title because he wants big money fights. What are we doing here, Gilberto? This is what you want? Really? Come on, man. Come on. That is fucking ridiculous. And again, I know Ramirez, I know his trainer, they're good guys, but shame on all of you. Nigel, get him from the tower. Yeah, sorry, Gilberto, you deserve that. I didn't want to do that, but it just had to be done. But let's get to those HBO numbers, because they were just so fantastic. I may have some more music, new music, I should say, for this. It's okay. It's okay, HBO. Shit happens, right? Per Keith Idek, here are the Nielsen ratings for HBO's doubleheader Saturday night. Sergey Kovalev, Eldar Alvarez, peak viewership, 813,000. Average viewership, 731,000. And then the Bivol Chalemba numbers, like we give a fuck, right? Am I right? So, and just to put in a quick comparison with the new sort of a new commodity over at HBO, or in a sense, Jaime Munguia, Liam Smith, they did an average of 777,000 viewers and a peak of 827,000 viewers. Let's just do the quick math there. Hold on, let me get back to, where's the cursor? There we go. That is around over 40,000 more viewers on average. Jaime Munguia. Jaime fucking Munguia, a guy that has only been in the U.S. for 2 fights. For 2 fights. Does a better ratings than Sergey Kovalev. Oh my God, this is bad. This is really bad. Whew. Damn. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Music want to keep playing that. It was that sad. Johnny said, meanwhile, 600,000 of us watch via links because HBO not worth subscribing to. Is that an actual number? Did Forbes report on that, Johnny? Did an act, or were you on a stream that had 600,000 viewers on it? If that's true, please let me know, because that is insane if that is true. Because obviously, Kovalev, in theory, is much more established draw, a commodity than a Jaime Munguia, but yet it does lower viewership. This card, I would say, is overall a better card than the Jaime Munguia event. Man, Toussaint Louverture said Mexicans show up for their own. That is true. I mean, let's be honest. Like, the Mexican Americans are probably maybe attaching themselves to Jaime Munguia, and that's always been a huge demographic in the sport. We know that. I just did not expect it to show this early. We had a guy like Kovalev, who has been on pay-per-view twice, fought Andre Ward, has been such a commodity for HBO. It seems has obviously done much better viewership than this, facing a fight that I think we were relatively hyped on, and got Dimitri Bivol on the card. Like, it should have done more, and it didn't. And it's insane. But yeah, it's. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comment section what you think of this viewership. Is it just a sign of HBO continually dropping down to a point where, what's the point? Like, how much longer do they actually spend money on events and fights for HBO? You just keep it around because you have Canelo? Is it just the Canelo network at this point? Lord Jacob says Jim Lampley sucks. Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
I want smoke.
He absolutely sucks, but that's another story for another time. Last piece of news, or numbers, I should say, for boxing. Then we're going to move over to UFC news. PBC on Fox viewership, to report more numbers, was official for 941,000 viewers average. In 2018, the last event did 1.136 million. The event before that, 839,000 viewers. Obviously not great. I mean, I forget who said this. Somebody said it online. It was like the last 4 PBC on Fox events are the 4 worst viewerships they've had on that network, or something like that. And again, this is right behind the news or the rumors circulating of Al Heyman making a Fox deal. So, that's right. Toussaint saying R.I.P. Alex Jones. Yeah. That's great. Hold on. I got one for you. Where's Alex? Where is he? And by the way, this soundbite is titled Georgie Porgy.
It is an alien force, not of this world.
Yes. Thank you, Georgie, for that. The prospect saying, Matt, would you rather see a Bivol Alvarez unification or keep the Bivol Kovalev 8th December date? No, I mean, Kovalev should not be fighting Bivol at all. He just got knocked the fuck out. No, we should not be fighting Bivol. Kovalev should not be in any discussion with the top fight right now. But in terms of PBC on Fox, let me just wrap this up, and then I'll actually switch back to the Bivol Alvarez fight, because I forget who was reporting that Alvarez wants to fight Bivol on that date. I looked that up rather quickly right now as I'm talking. But PBC on Fox, I don't know what the long-term strategy is. I really do not. If it is that they have a deal, then why would they... Are they continually put bad events on? And then not only put bad events, but stack them against other entertainment events of the day. Like, it's not just boxing. They had UFC to deal with. They had a UFC pay-per-view to fight. I'm going to get to the UFC numbers, but we had 3 events, in theory, compete with each other. Now, there was not complete overlap. The PBC on Fox event had some slight overlap with the HBO and UFC pay-per-view. But PBC on Fox was direct competition with the UFC on FX prelims. So it's just insane. The PBC boxing idiot saying PBC on Fox can't be worse than DAZN. Well, of course it can't. But Fox is in 200 million homes, guaranteed in the U.S. DAZN, let's say they have 100,000 subscribers in the first month. Just throwing out an easy round number, right? how many of those subscribers actually watch AJ Povetkin in September? I think it's a high percentage, right? And all of those 100,000 are paying $10 a month. So that's $1 million a month right there. Boom. That's at least some revenue, right? If you're Fox and you're just making money off of ad revenue and your ad rates aren't filling because people aren't watching your event, you're kind of, again, I don't know if they're paying, if this was a time buy, I don't know if this was a license fee. I don't know what this PBC on Fox event was, but let's say they're paying for it. Did they make the money back on an event that didn't do the right viewership, that didn't fill the ad rates? Just, I don't know. Is what it is. But to stitch back to actually, hold on, before I switch back to that, wrapping up very quickly for PBC on Fox, they have to change their long-term strategy with Fox if there is a deal in place. They have to start putting Danny Garcia versus Sean Porter-like fights on Fox instead of Showtime if they want it to succeed. If they don't, it will never succeed. Point blank, period. Now switching back to Alvarez and Dimitri Bivol by way of, who is that? TVA Sports. Who is that? So, it's Quebec. So that is, Canadian outlet. Per Canadian outlet and by way of Michael Benson, saying Edler Alvarez has declared he would happily either rematch Sergey Kovalev or unify with Dimitri Bivol on December 8th, which was the original planned HBO date for Kovalev versus Bivol. Please, let's just get Bivol versus Alvarez. If they're ready to go, then let's go. I think Bivol is at a point where let's see what he's made of. He's fought the Barreras, the Chilembas. He's worked his way towards an Alvarez. Let him fight an Alvarez, and let's see what we have here with Bivol. He's received a lot of hipster hype. Let's see if it's deserved. And Alvarez, all of a sudden now this huge force in this division because the way he beat Sergey Kovalev, let's see what he is. And let's have a unification. Why not? The best fighting the best. I am always in favor and in support of that. Always. But stitching back to viewership and metrics, and also switching over to MMA and the UFC. Sorry, boxing people. Sorry. So we are moving over to boxing and... No, sorry. We're moving away from boxing into MMA and UFC news and topics. Quickly, though, I'm going to do this more often now. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Fat Apples, Rick, MB, Johnny, Nija, Bayside Boxing, Boxing and Blunts, The Boxing Idiot, Lord Jacob. I believe I said Fat Apples already. Toussaint, Jay, Prada J. Thank you for showing up, man. I feel like you just got here. Yeah. What up, man? You missed half the show already. Fighter IQ, a.k.a. Ron the Mastermind. Go check him out on TBV. Rob, a.k.a. Robbie Hearns, a.k.a. Eddie Hearns, third cousin, twice removed. Go check him out on TBV. I believe that is it for everyone. Hope everyone's having a great day. Oh, and Louie. And Wood. What's up, Wood? Been a while, man. Hope you're good, man. But moving over to UFC and MMA news, if you just got here and you want to listen to only boxing, just rewind the show. And you can still hang out in the chat, still talk about the topics we talked about already. No big deal. But yes, moving over to MMA and UFC news and stitching back to viewerships and numbers on Saturday's events. UFC 227 prelims on FX averaged 717,000 viewers. And a sort of look at the other prelims, pay-per-view prelims of 2018. Right around, I would say, like, probably the upper half, I would say, or maybe the top half, obviously, because the lowest number was UFC 224 for 574,000, and the highest number is tied for UFC 220 and 222 at 905,000. So kind of pedestrian, not great. The gate revenue for UFC 227 was around $3 million, which was extremely high, which was higher than, I believe, the last two UFC LA events. I could be wrong about the last two, but I know it was higher than the Bisping Rockhold event. But that's kind of obvious. Excuse me. Again, this was in competition, obviously, with the PBC on Fox event. Was not in competition with the HBO event, but was in the PBC on Fox event. weird how it was kind of counter-programming its own sort of network because FX is under Fox, for those who do not know. Kind of interesting. I asked Kevin Ioli. He said he was on vacation. Shout out to Kevin. One of the greats. He wasn't able to give me a pay-per-view estimate. But there hasn't been a pay-per-view estimate that I've seen float out by anyone yet for this UFC event. Once we get that, obviously we'll report it. But going to be interested to see what that is, especially with all these metrics in correlation with a boxing event that was in the same venue a week before. Always love juxtaposing like the two sports in that way if we can, and I think that would be a fun way. Especially, and I emailed the California State Athletic Commission trying to get at the gate revenue for Mike Garcia versus Robert Easter Jr. because I have not found any link for that or any reporting on that. Another comparison we can use. Just interested to see what it is because the highest guaranteed pay for the fighter on that UFC event was Demetrius Johnson, which was $380,000, and Robert Easter got paid $500,000 guaranteed against Mike Garcia. We'll love to dig into the finances there, so just kind of floating that out there as what we could do. But yes, let's get to a dramatic reading by Matt. And I have some new music. Yes, just like I had the new sad music, I have a new dramatic reading music. Yes. I'm hyped.
I want smoke.
Let's get into Dana White and Ben Askren. Now, as I going at it, just Dana White sending some shots. Dana, by way of Jed Goodman over there on Twitter, at Jedi Goodman. Go check him out. Dana, Ben Askren hit me up a few months ago and said, what are the odds that we could talk about me getting into the UFC? And I said, we can absolutely talk about it. And I had him. I said, you need to send me a letter saying, a letter before I even talk to you or meet with you or do anything. I need a letter saying that you're a free agent. And he's not a free agent. He's under contract with ONE FC and he's going to have to go fulfill his contract with them before I would ever meet with him or talk with him. Yeah, so for all those not just saying the music. You love that music. That was amazing. But for all those hardcore Ben Askren fans, yeah, still doesn't look like it's happening where your guys are going to head over to the UFC. It is what it is. But shout out to Dana White, always saying,
I want smoke.
Always good for a laugh. Oh, and by the way, switching back to Wood, that's funny. Switching back to what Anthony asked in the chat about, not really asked, but talked about, with Gervonta Davis calling out TJ Dillashaw just because that's a mix of the two sort of sports and industries. No, come on. Gervonta Davis, come on.
Don't be mad on me.
We know you and Cody were tight in some way. And you know what? A lot of boxers really liked Cody Garbrandt. Just weird. Not weird, just interesting how that happened. Or what the theories are as to why a lot of boxers love Cody Garbrandt. But yeah, I definitely, he doesn't want to fight TJ Dillashaw, and neither TJ Dillashaw doesn't want to fight Gervonta Davis. Like, there's no point. Like, we're not even gonna really talk about that because it wouldn't happen. I think Gervonta Davis is also one of those guys just is on Twitter just talking sometimes. Is what it is. But some more sort of fight announcements and news before we head out of here. UFC announces light heavyweight fight between Misha Cirkunov versus Patrick Cummins for October 27th event in Canada. Love that fight at light heavyweight. They definitely need more competitors in that weight class and just sort of filling out that top 10. And this would be sort of a good barometer of what these two guys can sort of bring to the table. Another sort of news and announcement. No, is it Jose Ben? No, I always call him Jose Benavidez. But Benavidez versus Ray Borg has been shifted to the UFC Fight Night card on Denver. I mean, obviously, we kind of knew this was going to happen with the restraining order in a sense, or protective order, I should say, not restraining order, from Ray Borg for Conor McGregor for the whole Dolly on the bus incident. So Joseph Benavidez versus Ray Borg has been moved to the November 10th date. But let's be honest, does that affect the buy rate of October 6th? Not at all, especially with Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov at the top. Wood saying Cody fought in the amateurs with him, Matt. Oh, I didn't know that. That Cody fought in the amateurs with Gervonta Davis. It's a little good fun fact. If you can, Wood, send me a link on any sort of like news articles about that. I'd love to read that. And last piece of news of the day, or sort of not news, but on this day, by way of at boxing history, in 1997, real Roy Jones Jr., or is it at real Roy Jones Jr., regained the WBC light heavyweight title with the first round revenge KO over Montel Griffin in Mashantucket, Connecticut. Shout out to Connecticut in the house, am I right? And we actually have a lot of listeners from the Connecticut, Rhode Island sort of area. Interesting. But salute to, obviously, Roy Jones being the great that he is. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Hit the like button, subscribe, share the show. Be back, obviously, tomorrow. As always, every day, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. in the UK. Usually tomorrow's our preview show of what is going to happen in the weekend. Not much happened this weekend. I believe really the only event is... Yeah, it's the Jojo Diaz versus Jesus Rojas fight, I believe. We'll be back tomorrow. Remember, go to patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio to help support the show. As low as $1 a month gets you extra content, helps support the channel. And plus, if you haven't seen already, if you're on Patreon, go check out the latest video because you get to see some of the studio renovations that's been underway. Part 1 of it's done. I believe all the equipment's coming in tomorrow, and then painting on Monday. Can't wait for that. Get this god-awful color. And what's going to be done in terms of that, in terms of how it will look for the show, I don't know yet. But a lot can be done. We can fit a full panel in here, all mic'd up, mic stands, professional audio quality, everything. Oh, man, I cannot wait for that.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke?
Come on.
Call me
Mr. Chimney.
I want smoke.
I want that smoke. I'm here to stay. Be back later. Anthony saying, peace, Matt. Hit me up about Friday. I will. If you want to come in to the studio on Friday, let me know. Main event, Mark saying, done already. Jesus, I know. I'm sorry. It's only a 40-minute show. But that's because there's no news today. But I'll be back later. Hope everyone has a great day. Peace.